Welcome to the Buy Canadian Super Hour. This is episode 2. I'm your host, Dave Lazar, and we got a great show for you planned today. All right, let's run down how this all works for those of you that are new or just joining us. This is the Buy Canadian Super Hour, and it's all about celebrating Canadian brands and going shopping for Canadian products. Throughout the show, you're going to be able to purchase items right on screen. We can feature the products that we're talking about, and you can click right on the overlay to make a purchase. Also, you'll note in the chat area to the right of your player on buycanadian.tv, you will see a list of all the products that are going to be available through the show. You can be filling up a cart with anything there at any time during the stream. So we got a great show for you planned today. For those of you who may be watching on Facebook or on YouTube, feel free to join us on the interactive channel at buycanadian.tv. That's where you'll be able to purchase on screen, interact with me and our special guests, vote on the game we're going to be playing today. So it should be a lot of fun if you want to join us at buycanadian.tv. Of course, you're welcome to continue watching wherever you are. So let's take a look at today's rundown. First, we're adding a new element, which is a giveaway. This is a new feature of Stage 10 where we can actually let people participate in a giveaway. So after I go through the rundown, I'm going to be activating a giveaway and giving everybody a chance to win a coupon code for 20% off any purchase on next week's episode. There'll be multiple winners announced through the show, and we'll test that out. After the show, the winners will be emailed with the coupon code. So that should be fun. Also, we are going to be playing another game of Canadian or Not. This is where I bring up an image on screen and the audience gets to vote on whether they think it's a Canadian person, invention, or thing. And we had a lot of fun with that last week, and we're going to be doing it again. We're going to keep it a little tighter this time, and I got some fun sound effects for you. So, we're improving each week. Then we're going to bring on our special guest. Melissa Maker is with us today. And hello to any of Melissa's friends who may be tuning in to the multi-stream on the Clean My Space channel. It's a real honor and pleasure to have Melissa joining us. I'm going to do a little interview with her. Then we're going to open it up to an Ask Me Anything with the audience. So that should be a lot of fun. We're going to show some of the great Makers Clean products that are available in the Buy Canadian Group.ca first Canadian online department store. So we're having a lot of fun with that. Really excited about the whole project, about these streams. After we talk to Melissa, we'll play another round of Canadian or Not. Then I'll open it up to some general questions. If the audience has anything, do a third round of Canadian or Not, and let you know about next week's special guest. Okay, so I think we should get this game going. Play a quick round of Canadian or Not. We'll do 3 questions, and then we'll bring in Melissa, who's the real star of today's show. Okay, so I'm going to bring up the overlay here, and let's bring up our first Canadian or Not challenge question. So just as a reminder, I am going to activate a vote, which you can click right on screen, and you can vote as many times as you want. I'll leave it active for a few seconds. I'll give you a short countdown, and then we will look at the results of each one. Okay, so the first challenge in today's Canadian or Not game is Boston Pizza. Is Boston Pizza a Canadian company? Okay, I'm going to activate the voting now. We will give it about 10 seconds. We'll keep the voting a little tighter this week, and I will be reporting on the results to you. So we're now seeing 11 votes for Boston Pizza being Canadian. We're up to 20 now. Nobody thinks Boston Pizza is not Canadian. So this may be maybe this one's fairly obvious, or maybe it's not. I mean, last week we didn't have a great record. I'm hoping we do better this week. The current votes stand at 26-4. I'm going to do a countdown from 3, and then we're going to cut off the voting. So get in your votes now. 3, 2, 1, and we're stopping the votes. Okay. Well, how about that? Correct. Boston Pizza is Canadian, and the total vote count was 37 votes for Canadian, 4 votes for non-Canadian. So Boston Pizza was a chain founded in Edmonton, Alberta in 1964 by Greek-Canadian Gus Agoritis. Boston was just branding. So it is indeed a Canadian company, and you guys are 1 for 1. So I'm super happy about that. Glad we're off on the right start. Let's reset the votes and bring up our next challenge here. So the next question is Bloody Mary. The Bloody Mary, and don't get confused, that's not a Caesar. That is a Bloody Mary. Is that Canadian? Okay, I'm starting the voting. Bring your votes in now. We'll give it about 10 seconds and see where it lands. So far, we have 7-0 not Canadian. The Bloody Mary is tomato juice and vodka, for those of you who don't know. It looks like a Canadian drink, but could that be because it looks like a Caesar? So we are seeing a score of 8-2 non-Canadian. I'm going to give it a short countdown here. 3, 2, 1. Get your votes in, and we'll stop. And it looks like you guys selected not Canadian, and that is correct. The Bloody Mary is a vodka tomato cocktail. It was credited to the bartender Fernand Petiot at New York City's King Cole Bar around the year 1934. So you are correct, and we are 2 for 2 today. The Bloody Mary is not a Canadian invention. Okay, one more before we bring in our guest in round 1 here. I'll reset the votes and prepare for the third entry in today's Canadian or Not game. And that is the Klondike Bar. Is the Klondike Bar a Canadian invention or product? We know the Klondike is. The votes are open. We're seeing Canada, it being Canadian, jumping out to an early lead here at 5-3. It's now getting quite close. Canadian 5, not Canadian 4. We're going to give you about 3 seconds we have a full tie. We're going to give you about 3 seconds to break the tie here in 3, 2, 1, and I'm stopping. Oh, and just over the line, we got a 6th vote for not Canadian, breaking the tie. And again, you are correct. The Klondike Bar is not Canadian. In fact, it is an ice cream bar that was created in Pittsburgh by the Italy Dairy Company in the 1920s. Although the Klondike itself is Canadian, the Klondike Bar is not. Okay, very cool. That is the first round of the Canadian or Not game. And we will be playing another round after our talk with Melissa. But now I think without further ado, before we bring Melissa on, I want to get the giveaway started. So I'm going to activate the giveaway. What you will see is, I'm going to start it right now. You will see a little image of a gift in your interface. If you want to enter the giveaway, put in your information, and then we'll be doing draws throughout the show for a coupon code for next week. So the giveaway is now active. I'm going to leave it active for a while, so you have some time to add entries, and then we'll do some draws. It actually lets me randomly pick a winner, and we'll have more than one winner today. Okay, so now without further ado, I want to bring in our special guest, Melissa Maker, and we're super happy to have her here. Hello, Melissa. Welcome to the Buy Canadian Super Hour.
Hi, Dave, and thanks for having me.
It's really fun having you here, and I can hear you well. Hopefully, the audience can hear us both, and we're doing good here. So yeah, we're super excited to have your amazing um, Makers Clean products in the Buy Canadian online department store. I know it's been a really popular item in the store, and I know a lot of the folks watching are probably already fans and followers of you. Um, and hello to everybody who may be watching on the Clean My Space. I'm honored to be able to stream onto that channel today. But I thought for those of you that are new to your story, why don't you tell me a little bit about how Makers Clean started and a little bit of the origin story of the company?
Yeah, the origin story takes some twists and turns. I do want to start first of all by saying that is a hell of a shirt. That is
Thank you.
so perfect for what we're doing, and I just love it. I love the spirit. That's amazing. And
Feeling it. Thank you.
just a second note I want to make. I think what you're doing in general for Canadians is so important, and I want to thank you on behalf of small Canadian companies who are feeling a little worried, a little uncertain during this time. There's a lot of uncertainty out there in the market,
Yeah.
and I love how you're saying you're the first online department store. We're watching the Bay kind of fold, and one of the things about that legacy brand that they weren't able to do was keep up with the times. And that's exactly
Correct.
what you're doing. And you're also really shouting out to small businesses. And that's the heart of the country, as we know. So thank you.
Thank you, Melissa. That's really kind and really nice to hear. We're just getting started at the Buy Canadian online department store. So we've just got an initial selection of brands, but new brands are joining every day. If anyone wants to check it out and do a little shopping, it's open 24/7. The magic of online at buycanadiangroup.ca, and as well you can access it from buycanadian.tv, which is also where anyone who wants to participate in today's show can come out. So yes, thank you again, and we're super excited about it too. Like even with the Bay, you're still going in there and buying a lot of products from American brands, and I think that's
Yeah.
what really makes this distinct. Is not only does it have a wide selection of products, so once we've grown and done our like real launch, it's going to be a place you can go shopping and know you're doing your shopping with Canadian goods.
Yeah.
Um, so it has that distinct advantage as well.
Yeah. Okay. So I'll tell you my origin story since you asked, and I know we sort of took a turn there.
Cool.
So I'm not one of these women that are afraid to share my age. I'm 42, and that's important to the story. When I was, I graduated from university back in 2005. I got a business degree, and I took the first job that came my way. It was not by any stretch the job I wanted. It was the job that I got. And it was for a government-run bank, which is quite frankly, the intersection of the two worst possible organizations you could imagine. And I stayed there for a year. And then I had always wanted to start my own business. And I realized I was young, I had no commitments. And it was the time to take a risk. And any young entrepreneur out there, I would say, when you're young, that is the time. Anyway, I mean, it's any time really, but it's a little bit easier. It was easier for me during that time. Anyway, I started a cleaning company in 2006 to help people like me who hated to clean and wanted to walk into a clean space, just didn't have the time or the energy or the desire to do it themselves. In 2012, that became parlayed into online content creation. So we started making YouTube videos about cleaning as a way initially to boost our rankings in Google search, because obviously YouTube was and is owned by Google. And then that is where we sort of got the idea for Makers Clean, because I started talking about all of the professional cleaning tools that I was able to access for my cleaning company. And I would say, you need a really good quality microfiber cloth. And then I would look at the comments, and our audience would be saying, but I can't find those. Like the ones that you're talking about, those aren't the ones that I'm seeing in the store. And that was where the business opportunity was born. And I realized, I have this community. They trust me. I genuinely care, like genuinely care about cutting people's cleaning time and frustration. And I wanted to give them the tools that they needed to make cleaning easier. So that's where Makers Clean started. We placed a teeny tiny order, like teeny tiny, and it was completely audience funded. This was before not GoFundMe, but like Kickstarter. This was well before that. We just put out a video on YouTube, and I'm like, this is we're doing an initial run. I think it was 250 kits, and that was our seed money to make our bigger investment. And I remember all the cloths came to the office. My mom was there. She was packing the boxes. I hand wrote thank you cards to everyone. We had special tags that were sewn in that said Makers Clean. It was like debut, like the debut run or something like that, just so whomever bought them had that. And some of our customers still have those to this day.
Well, I think that
Um,
that
yeah.
authentic love of customer and what you were saying, like how you genuinely care, is probably a big key to success for how people embrace this. Because I think it makes a big difference if you're trying to do this to really help people as much as you are to build a big business.
Yeah, and I think, when I look on Amazon, and I see our competitors, because my team and I were always keeping our eyes out on, what's going on in the market. I think one of the biggest challenges that consumers have is really understanding, is this product, as you say, is this made for me by someone who genuinely cares about my problems? Or is this made by someone who has access to a factory and is just pumping out whatever they can and trying to sell it at the lowest price? And I mean, we all sort of benefit from that every now and then on Amazon. But what I keep hearing from our customers and what keeps my team and I going is they'll say, yeah, I've gone and gotten the cheaper stuff and it doesn't compare. And I know it doesn't compare because we have a relationship, a close relationship with our factory. We're very clear about what we want. We're very tight on quality control. And if we're not getting what we want, we have to fix that, because if my cloths aren't thick enough, they're not absorbent enough, my customers are spending more time cleaning. And that is not the vibe of Makers Clean. We can't have that. So we really care. And there's a small, tight team behind this. We meet at my house. We take our products, we test them, we give them to our friends and family. Like, there's a real nice kind of family vibe to it. And I know our customers feel that
Yeah,
when they interact with
definitely.
us.
I can feel it even just surfing your website, talking to you. It's amazing. I'm sure it's probably a pretty cool place to meet, because I bet you it's super clean at your place. Um, so-
Everyone says that. And I'm sure you've heard the old adage, the shoemaker's kids never have new shoes. And I will say now in my 40s, I've definitely gotten better than I was in my younger years. But I am like a wild animal when it comes to messes. And I've really, like, Clean My Space has also been a learning journey for me. And, I'm sharing with my audience in real time the lessons that I'm learning and the changes that I'm making. And I will say I'm much better at keeping a cleaner, tidier home, more organized, less clutter. But that has been a journey. So it's not always clean, and I still do apologize profusely, as I'm Canadian. So
it's
it's
kind of
just in my
like,
blood. But yeah, when people come over, I'm always like, oh, sorry about the mess. But yeah.
I guess if you don't know how to make a good mess, there's nothing good to clean up. So
Well, that's true. Sometimes we get criticized on the channel and people say, your house isn't even messy. I'm like, well, what do you want me to do? Like, have someone over with food poisoning and ruin my toilets and then leave it for a month? Like, I only have what I have.
I hear you. Obviously, because I'm into live streaming, I'm curious about your live streaming practice, and I know you've got a really successful YouTube show, and I just wanted to ask you about that. Tell us about the show, how it started, and then maybe a little bit about what the most rewarding parts of it have been. Because I know with live streaming, I get a real kick out of being able to talk to the Buy Canadian Group customers, and I just want to hear, what that's been like for you.
Yeah. So, I didn't go to school for any of this. And I think unless you're in broadcast journalism, you really don't understand what life is like sitting in front of a camera and just talking to an empty room and seeing a tiny green dot on your screen. So I would say like my live streaming experience is predated by just live on air experience. So I did a lot of Rogers local cable shows to sort of, it's sort of like a
Fantastic.
gym. Yeah, it's like a gym for like building muscle and just getting used to a 3 camera setup and all of the hot lights on you and understanding how to communicate your point in a short period of time,
That's
7 to 8 minute
Tom
segment.
Green started as well.
Well, and obviously I am the second coming of Tom Green. But yeah, no, I would go on like, the little local Rogers shows and it was a great and fun experience. And then that sort of parlayed into doing some of the bigger Canadian shows like City Line, Marilyn Dennis, The Social. I'm a regular guest on the morning show on Global. Like I love doing live TV. Like, so live TV is great. The challenge with live TV is that I'm a suburban girl, and I have to get in my car and go all the way downtown because the studios are never in the burbs. They're always in tons of traffic and tiny parking areas and whatever. So the other thing is you got to be made up. You got to have a new outfit every time. Like I'm wearing this $20 dress from Target. I have no makeup on right now. Like I'm just living my best life. So streaming, I do find streaming really easy, and we've incorporated that as part of our YouTube strategy and part of our content strategy. And I'll tell you why, Dave, because it's really nice to share information. I'm in effectively I'm in the education business. Like I teach people how to clean, and I'm sort of coaching and encouraging, but that's my job. And it's very one sided. When you're, like I say, when you're on camera, you're talking to a lens, you get edited, you put it out there. Live streaming gives me the ability to have one-on-ones with my audience. And I do have the ability when I stream to sort of bring them in if they would like to do what you and I are doing right now. Most people are too uncomfortable to do that, but that is my all-time favorite. Like when I get to talk to someone and sort of work through their cleaning challenge, it's just the greatest. I'm sure you like it's so much fun just to talk to other
It
folks who
is.
are
And
who are
people
out there. I love
actually,
it.
so the ones who maybe come on camera, like you are here, do they actually show you what's going on in their homes, like in a live environment?
So I have had people do that. I also am part of a private group that a friend of mine runs for folks who want to organize, and I come in once a month and I do a monthly cleaning session. And that group, yeah, we run that on Zoom, and that they'll take me right into the shower. They're like zooming in on the grout in the bathroom. They're like, look at this toilet bowl, and it's great, and it's so funny, but like it's amazing because they can get that real time feedback. Whereas if they're just typing out a comment and leaving it on a video, there's a lack of detail. There's probably a lack of timeliness on my end for sure. Whereas, when we're in a live setting, they can show me exactly what the problem is. I can ask them, how long has that been there? Or what else have you tried? Have you tried this? Do you have that? We can really work through the problem together.
It's
And
a unique feeling of connection, I think, which
it is.
is
And
what,
you know what? Like I always say to people, I'm not scary. Like Dave, if I ran into you at like a Tim Hortons or something, you're not a scary guy. I'm not a scary girl. And I just love the fact that, I actually get as close as possible to my audience during a stream.
that's
So now
great.
we try to do it once a month on our YouTube channel as well. Yeah,
Great.
at the very least. I love it.
One thing I wanted to talk about, because over here at Buy Canadian, we're always thinking about the future, trying to reinvent shopping for Canadians. I wanted to talk a little bit about innovation in the cleaning industry, because that's something that doesn't get talked about a lot. Are there any, I know you could probably, vinegar has been used for ages, but are there any breakthroughs coming? I know there's been massive improvements in vacuum cleaners and stuff, but is there anything that maybe the super hour audience might not know about that's coming down the pipe that would get people excited, or are things kind of, or is innovation maybe stalling on the in the world of cleaning?
Yeah, this is a really interesting question because cleaning is a relatively analog realm, right? We don't see tons of innovation, and you've sort of touched upon some of the technology improvements that we're seeing. So air filtration, suction, vacuum, that kind of thing. There are window cleaning vacuums. I feel very confident that when self-driving cars are around, we're also going to have some sort of humanoid type assistant that will be able to help us clean. I predict that's coming, but I don't know if that will even be here in the next 20 years. I have no clue. But the innovation that I think everyone should be paying a lot of attention to is a reduction in the use of water. So a lot of companies, the big companies, what they're doing, and they're always the ones that drive innovation because they have the funds for it, they have the budget, and then it trickles down to the smaller companies. But what they're doing is they're investing in figuring out how to reduce water content in their product, whether that's selling a concentrate, whether that's selling it in a different format. So, in a puck instead of a liquid or a pod. And the reason they're doing that, obviously, is to be more resource mindful, but then also to, when we think about resource mindful, like use less water, but also the less water that's in a product, the easier it is to transport, the lower the carbon footprint, the less
Thinking about
product
shipping,
waste.
yeah, especially with an online department store, that's something that's a big thing.
Right.
The less weight you're moving through the mail, the better for the environment. The cheaper it
Absolutely.
is to buy an item. So that's really interesting. And water is a big thing for Canada. And I don't want to go down a wild rabbit hole, but we do control most of the world's fresh water. So it's definitely an all Canadian thing is fresh water, and good that we're taking every avenue to conserve it.
Yeah. I'll just say one other innovation and something that I think, and I hope consumers are aware of and becoming more mindful of, is there are a lot of products that are available now that have, interchangeable bodies and heads. So, for example, you might buy the trigger once, sort of like a razor. You'll buy the razor once and then you replace the blade. So, a lot of these products are coming with replaceable bodies that contain the liquid. And while it's not a perfect system, they are reducing plastic use somewhat. And I've always felt the cleaning industry is very wasteful. And I always look for ways to reduce waste. A perfect plug for Makers Clean, reducing paper towel, reducing use of disinfecting wipes, disposable sort of cheaper cleaning cloths or tea towels. Like those are all things that really good quality microfiber is able to support. And that's why Makers Clean is amazing.
It is. It is. So, I mean, you've been a Canadian that's been out there and has attracted followers from, all over the world. One of the things I was curious about, because we're always thinking Canadian here, is have you seen in your travels any particular Canadian cleaning habits that may not be there in other cultures or in other nations? Or is it pretty standard from your experience across the different regions?
So Dyson does a study every year. And I think it's called the Cleaning Habits Study. I forget exactly what it is. But I do remember there was one year where they looked at the cleaning habits of people in the United Kingdom, and they had atrocious cleaning habits compared to us and Americans. And it's really neat because what they do is they investigate everyone around the world, and how often they'll wash and change their sheets or vacuum or clean. And it was particularly meaningful, I would say, during COVID, when we were learning a lot about cleaning habits. So I would say Canadians we actually performed pretty well. There's been no further data. Like sometimes, you'll get like a press release about, a study that was commissioned by a company, and sure. But in general, I've found, cleaning habits aren't necessarily based on a country as much as they are based on one's culture. And then secondarily, as much as they're based on someone's personality. Cleaning is it is so subjective. It is so unique to the individual. I know that from my cleaning company. I know that from my relationships. I know that from being a daughter, being a mother, being a sister. Like I see it. And I hear it in the comments. Like in aggregate, it's so hard to pinpoint one particular country's cleaning habits, but I think we're doing okay as Canadians.
Sounds like it. So I want to open it up to audience questions, but before we do that, and and I don't want to, put you on the spot, but one thing
No, put me on the spot. That's why
right,
I'm here.
one of the things I thought might be fun is before we open it up to questions from the audience, is there a question you would like to ask the audience? Because basically, I can set up a poll. We can have it active during the discussions with the audience, and then we can see the response that you get. So if you've got something that you're curious about in terms of like a yes or no answer or something even like a multiple choice, I can set up a poll here on the fly. We can put it up, and while you're taking audience questions, we can let the audience vote on it, and then at the end we can see how they answered your question.
That's so cool. Okay, I love that technology. Let's see.
Stage
That
10.
really is putting me on the spot, you know?
Well, it's not necessary. If you think of something as
No,
we go,
I do want to ask a question. I just want to make sure I'm asking the right question.
well, take your time.
Yeah, I will take my time.
Very chill show. In the
Nothing
meantime, I'll ask the audience to start thinking of questions. Just throw the question in the chat, and we'll bring it up on screen. Melissa will answer. Apparently, she likes to be put on the spot, so some interesting questions are always good. And I think Melissa's got something here.
I have it.
Okay, I'm going to add it.
When it comes to cleaning products and tools, are you more interested in paying less for a product that is just okay, or more for a product that you know is premium and directly translates to giving you better results in less time?
Beautiful. Okay, I'm going to write this. So for your cleaning products,
Yes.
what's better is going to be the question. And then
Yeah.
the answers.
Cheaper, lower performance.
Cheaper, lower performance.
But then you don't have to spend as much money on it.
Okay.
Or premium, but cuts your cleaning time, gets better results. You know, we always bandy this question around as a team, and we know how price sensitive consumers are. And it's so difficult, Dave, to compete with big box stores and sort of online giants. You know, we just don't do that volume. We can't negotiate the way that these smaller companies or larger companies can.
I have activated the poll now, and the results are already coming in. So far, we have 3 votes for premium. We'll leave it active throughout the Ask Me Anything, and we can go back and check the results at the end, maybe even check in on them as we go here.
Yeah.
But it looks like we got a first question coming in here. So I'm going to bring it up on screen. It's coming in from
my mom.
from Andrew.
Hi, Mom, if you're watching. Okay.
And Andrew's asking, what are good ways to teach kids about cleaning at different ages without getting too much pushback? So he's asking about that. And I see the question's kind of covering your face. So I'm going to remove it. But I think just to repeat it one more time, we're talking about a question from Andrew about teaching kids cleaning.
Andrew, this is such a terrific question. I actually talked about this on our live stream this past Monday because another person asked it. And it prompted me to think that we have to make a video about this because it's something on every parent's mind. So I'm a big believer in teaching kids how to be resilient and not making things easy on them. You know, not ruling with an iron fist, but I think you got to toughen the kids up, and you have to sort of, you know, you can't just hand everything in life to them. So that's sort of piece number 1. Piece number 2 is if something looks fun, kids will feel it's fun. If you are, you know, dreading cleaning and you're sort of gritting your teeth and muttering under your breath while you're doing it, your kids are going to feel the same way. And even the language that you use around, oh, you know, I have to vacuum instead of, oh, time to vacuum, like, or just having it neutral. You don't necessarily have to be excited about it, but your kids are going to take their cues from you. So I've always tried to make cleaning about taking care of the house, respecting the house, you know, living in a beautiful home and how important that is. And my daughter really gets it. The other and sort of third point, which is 2-pronged that I want to cover off, is what it does for your kids in the future. So teaching your kids how to do chores is indeed a life skill. And I can say, Andrew, as someone who runs a cleaning company and has talked to millions of people, not personally, but in my videos and seeing comments, I know how difficult it is to learn and acquire that skill of cleaning if you aren't taught how to do it from a young age, and how much it can affect your domestic life as a grown up. From not knowing how to do your laundry or having friends over and not knowing how to keep your home, like it's tough. It's tough. And who wants to learn that in their 20s? So if you can teach your kids how to clean, set them up for success in life, and sort of use that as the language, I think that also, it's sort of at a level they can understand, that is going to really help them understand the why behind the chores. And then just finding age appropriate things for them or things that they like, and then challenging them every now and then. So with my daughter, now she knows how to scrape all the dishes gently. She's 7. And then put the dishes in the dishwasher, and then get the dishwasher tab and put it in the dishwasher. That is her job, and she knows to do it. And even her friends know when they're over that they have to wait until Riley, loads up the dishes. And she's proud of it. And Andrew, just 2 more little things. There's a Harvard study that's done. It's a longitudinal study about teaching kids chores at a young age and how it affects their success and resilience later in life. Please read about that. It is incredible. And the second thing is a book called Raising Mentally Strong Kids. And I think that can give you a terrific foundation for the language in terms of how to approach this with your kids. I know that was a really long answer, but I feel so passionately about it.
No, that's great. And really interesting too. I know that I remember having chores that were assigned to me. For 1 week, I would have to do the dishes after dinner every night. And then the next week I would have to actually cook the dinners every night. And that was great learning for me in terms of just, I didn't like it, but it's, I'm thankful now, A, because it, taught me early cooking skills, which is one of the best things you can do. And B, because it taught me cleaning skills. Like, hey, how important is it to wash out the sink after? What about the sweeping, etc.? So Andrew's thanking you for the great answer. I agree. That was great. We do have a question coming in here from Mandy that's an outside the box one. If anything was possible,
Yeah.
what would the perfect cleaning tool be? Like, is there something that you've always wished existed that maybe doesn't exist today and, may never exist, but maybe we can invent something here on the Super Hour?
Yeah, it's probably like the Laundry Wizard 6000. So it would pick up all the clothes from your floor. It would sort it into lights, colors, darks, heavyweight fabric, things like that. Like, just, it would do all the sorting. It would know to what needs to be hand washed on cold. It would move everything from the washer to the dryer. It would hang dry the things that need to be hang dry. And then, of course, the Laundry Wizard Wiz 6000 would take everything out of the dryer, fold it, hang it up, put it away for you. Thanks, Mandy. I really hope someone important is listening.
Yeah, no, that's a great idea. I love it.
Or a tidy up machine. But honestly, if you Google that already exists, and it's quite creepy.
Well, you know what? I'm thinking we should start to talk about some of your products here, because one of the cool things about the Buy Canadian Super Hour is we can let people purchase items on screen. We can thank them, answer questions about the products. And we have a few to feature here today. If questions are still coming in, we can always bring those up. But I want to start featuring products because we're halfway through the show and we haven't, people can still be buying. So let me just go over that again. It's important in case you're joining us late. You can purchase products from the show right on screen. So for example, I'm going to feature the Makaker Mop here, which is the first product we're going to talk about. And I think one of the most exciting innovations that's come out of Makers Clean, and really one of the most popular products that Melissa has. So you can purchase that by clicking right on the overlay that's coming up on your player. If you're watching on buycanadian.tv, you can, if you're on the social networks, come on down to buycanadian.tv so you can purchase right on screen and chat with us. But there's also a listing of products on a tab in the chat room where you can purchase from any of the products we're featuring here on the show. And of course, at any time you go to buycanadiangroup.ca, check out the online department store. But I thought maybe we'd talk through some of the products, like maybe the Makers Mop first. I also have a video we can play where you could potentially talk over it. But I think it'd be great to show it live. And then when you're ready, just tell me and we can play the video and you can, I'll leave your audio active and you can kind of talk about it.
Sure. So a mop is a really awkward thing to share on a screen such as this, but well,
you want me to roll up the video now? I can do that.
Yeah, you know what? Play the video first. I'll kind of talk over it, and then I can go over some of the anatomy of the mop once everybody has seen it.
Okay, let me just make sure I got the right one. Here we go. All right, so we are going to bring up a video. I'll leave both of our audio active.
Sure.
But the video will take over the screen, and there's no audio on the video, so we can chat over it. So here's the video of one of the signature products of Melissa Maker's Maker's Clean.
Award-winning.
The award-winning Maker's Mop.
Mop it up. And then it's great for just everyday mopping, like what you saw there. A really cool feature of the taco shape is in the physics of the mop. So, you know, when you're using a regular flathead mop, I gotta really get this camera angle right. It's totally flat. So when you're applying pressure straight down, what you might notice is that the ends of the mop sort of go back and forth, or they wiggle a little bit because you can't quite apply an even amount of pressure to the mop itself. The way that the taco shape mop works is that when you apply pressure down the bottom of the mop pole, it evenly spreads out through the middle of this mop. So if you have, a really dirty floor, no matter where on the mop pad that section of floor is being cleaned, it's getting the same amount of pressure top to bottom. So that's just like a small nerdy cleaning thing, but it makes a big difference. You have two different mop pads. This is the everyday mop pad right here. So you can see the way that it's textured is such that it's flat. So it's safe for all floor surfaces, ranging everything from hardwood to natural stone, laminate, luxury vinyl, and tile. And this is just really good for, just everyday stuff. And then we've got the heavy duty mop pad, which has a thicker pile to it. And it's got those little yellow scrubbies on it. So this is like, if there's a real big mess on the floor, you can use that. You can buy, with the Maker's Mop, you get 4 mop pads. So you get 2 of each. And the way that they work is quite simply, you take your mop pad, you just apply it to the center of the taco, and then you go to town. And you can either pre-wet these by just having a bucket filled with your favorite floor cleaning solution based on the floor that you have, wring them out well, and then you can swap them out as needed. Or you can use a spray bottle, which is the method that I use. The other thing that's cool about the mop is you can use one half and do your cleaning, right? And then you can flip it over to the other half. So you've sort of doubled up your work surface. You don't need like a very large mop head. I know those are sold, but this is actually more precise. And it gets better results. So
it seems more efficient. I want to note that while we had the video live, I don't think the audience could hear you. So was there anything important that you were saying during the video?
This week's lottery numbers.
So we missed it.
Shame that you missed that.
All right. Well, I think that's great. No, that's really interesting. I think the way you can use the mop on ceilings, floors, walls. I mean, that's not something I guess people think about out of the box, so to speak, is mop is for the floor. but it's so handy to have that long reach there.
Yeah, and it's also, again, very difficult to demo, but it's got like an extendable pole, so you can adjust it, based on whether you're doing high dusting, low dusting, obviously ergonomic for your height. It even has, this is like a small feature, but my team and I like totally flipped out about this. This was so exciting. This little rubber thing here is called a wall stop. So when you put like a broom on a wall, just to like, you lean the broom, you're done your cleaning, or you lean the mop, and then the next thing you hear is like a slide and a slam. So the rubber wall stop actually prevents that from happening. And it's just like, it's this little feature that just really goes a long way. And then you also have, sorry, I'm just going to bring this past my mic. So you have these little stars here. And what you can do is you can take your cleaning cloth. I'm just going to grab one. Believe it or not, I happen to have a cleaning cloth handy. And what you can do is you can just take your cloth and you can sort of just poke it through. So this is just a great way, like if you want to do drying of your floor, dusting, or if you're cleaning a wall, like this is just another use where now you have access to, your microfiber cloths that you can throw on there. So it's really versatile. We've won awards for this mop. I can't say what awards they are because we have to actually pay to license the use of the award, but it was a really big award and we were so excited about it, like totally delighted. We've sold tons of these mops. The people who buy them, they're just like, I can't even believe that someone else hasn't come up with this already. And how does everyone in the world not have one of these? Because again, I'm all about making cleaner, faster, easier, more efficient. And this mop just does that.
I guess it's one of those things that once you've tried it, you can't really go back because the difference is that stark. And I mean, I think that's the proofs in how many people are using this mop in their homes. Am I correct that there's about 500,000 mops out there sitting in people's homes?
Don't think there's 500,000 mops. I think I'd be living in the Bahamas if that were the case.
Invite me to visit.
But yeah, we've got many thousands out there. And I know people absolutely. Yeah, that it was on my foot. I was trying to find an easy way to put it on the floor in case anyone heard that loud slam.
Cool. Looks like a comment coming in here from someone on YouTube. Brittany's saying, I used to fill water guns with soap and water when my kids were little and spray the walls and wash it with them, which made it pretty fun.
Oh my God, Brittany. And hi, Brittany. Brittany is one of our Clean My Space fans. That is such a fun and funny idea. I love it. I love the creativity.
It's super cool. Okay. I also noted that you've got these, we have two other products that I wanted to feature here. One is the whole home cleaning bundle and one is the new luxury face cloths. What do you think we should talk about first?
We can talk about the whole home cleaning bundle because it does include the mop.
Okay,
so
good.
You get the mop in there. And then, of course, you get 2 of each mop pad. But then in there, you also get some of our other famous products. And I'm going to show you the next product that this is like, I would say so many of our products are game changers, but this is one of the first. Oh my God, this is one of the first. Look. And this just goes to show how durable these cloths are.
Right.
Limited edition debut series. This was from 2015. This was from our first order. That's
the original all-purpose cleaning cloth.
Yeah. And like, this is the thing. These things last for so long. Like there's such good quality cloths. Listen, I would love if people came to the website and they bought new stuff every week, but we design the products, unlike so many other companies out there, not to be disposable. If you're coming back and replacing your cloths, then we've done something wrong. Like if you're replacing them too quickly, we've done something wrong.
Right. I think you can tell the quality and the way that they last. And
oh yeah,
otherwise you may as well use towels or something.
It's like, it's beautiful. Sexy. So what's great about these waffle weave cloths, and you get one of these, is that look how big it is. This is 2x3. This is big. And a lot of our customers were weirded out when we first started selling these because they said, these are huge for a dish towel or a tea towel. But here's the thing. When you're cooking and you've got wet hands, or you have 3 or 4 pots to dry at one time, or you're, washing up a bunch of fruit or veggies and you need to dry them. Those small tea towels, they get soaked very quickly. And then because they're generally made from cotton, they take a long time to dry. They stain very easily, and they hang on to odors, so they kind of age very quickly. They don't look great. These are the complete opposite. They're big. They've got a very efficient waffle weave to them, which means they absorb water quickly, but then they dry quickly. They look great. So we have some really nice neutrals. We have this blue. We have sort of a darker medium gray. This is actually one of our bath towels, but we have different colors that sort of match kitchen decor enough. And people start using this for all sorts of things. So we've had people use them to wipe off their dog's paws after they go out on a walk. We've had people wrap their hair in them. Parents have taken these to swim classes for little kids. Oh my God, we hear from so many people the different ways that they use these. When friends come to my house, friends and family, they're always like, hey, you have any of those waffle weaves? Can I take a waffle weave?
That is included in the whole home cleaning bundle,
Yes.
correct?
Yes. So you get one of those. You get one of our original all-purpose cleaning cloths. They come in a number of different colors. This is our beautiful orchid. I'm so partial to purple, so I love this. This is a 16 by 16. So it's a nice big cloth. A lot of the cloths out there on the market would be 10 by 10, 12 by 12, or 14 by 14. But, one of the things that in pro cleaning we do is we fold our cloths into quarters. And that way you have 8 different cleaning sides, right? So if you're working with a really small cloth, you're not getting as much surface area. Whereas if you have a larger cloth, you really are. These can hold up to 8 times their weight in water. Again, I think texture and thickness is really important. So I want to hold this up to the camera so everyone can see. And one of the ways that you can tell if your microfiber cloths are really good quality or not is by doing what we call the light test. So if you hold mine up to the light, you can't see through it. If you go to, a dollar store or a big box store and you hold up a microfiber cloth, you're going to see all sorts of light poking through because it's got a looser, thinner weave. So that is really our difference. Then we have our glass and electronics cloth, which is used specifically for glass and electronics. And you'll notice here it's got a flat weave. And a flat weave is so important because when we're cleaning something like our glasses, right, or our cell phones, what we want to make sure of is that nothing is getting caught in the cloth that can potentially scratch it. Because if I'm using this and it has a little piece of debris stuck in one of these little fibers or even a piece of dust, I might get a micro scratch. And over time, that's not great. So this, you also get one of these. This can be used on everything from mirrors and windows, flat screen TVs, glasses, cell phones, tablets, all sorts. And then you get one mini. So a Maker's Mini is essentially a 4x4 version of our all-purpose microfiber cloth. Just a little guy that you can throw in your car, your handbag, your school bag, anything like that. And then finally, I know this kit is like never ending and my desk is a mess, which
you get a lot of stuff in the whole home cleaning kit. It's
you
probably
do.
a great way to just switch into Maker's Clean as your main
supplier of
choice. Supplier, exactly, which is of course what we want everybody here watching to do.
Yes. And then you get a 3-pack of our scrub cloths. So on one side of the scrub cloth, you have this flat microfiber weave, which is great for wiping counters and sinks and surfaces. And then on the other side, you have this little scrubby texture. So this isn't going to get like lasagna off the pan, or this isn't going to clean a barbecue, but this is really great for everyday scrubbing. So things like scouring your sink. If someone spilled ketchup or Rice Krispies on the counter and it dried and you need to give it a good scrub, this is what you're going to pull up. If you're just sort of hand washing dishes, this is great. It's also very flexible. And the coolest part about this, as compared to a regular sponge, is that this, as well as all the other cloths I showed you, are machine washable. So they come perfectly clean every time.
That's super amazing. And I love it. So it's been such a exciting interview. We've, it's we're running up on the end of the super hour. So I thought we should run one of these giveaways that I promised we would do throughout.
Yeah, let's do a giveaway.
All right. So let's do it together here. I'm going to draw a winner, and let's see who wins. Oh, it looks like Alexa Clark is the first winner of the giveaway. So congratulations, Alexa.
Congrats.
We're super happy, and I'll be shooting you an email with a coupon code for next week's show, so you can buy something for 20% off. We'll draw one more winner before the end because I did promise more than one. But before I do, Melissa, are you game to work with me here on the what do they call it? The Canadian or Not game? You want to help me host that? Let's do one round of that.
I would be honored.
Okay, awesome. Yeah. So let us. I'm going to keep your mic on. There may be. We'll see how the layout works with the three of us. But we're just going to do one more round. So I'm going to go with the last round here. We can always play again next week. But let's first bring up the graphic here. Okay, Canadian art. We know Melissa is Canadian, so no need to vote on that. Let's bring back the. There we go. Let's bring back the. I'm going to stop. Oh, before we do this, let's stop the question you had for the audience. I'm going to take this off for a second, and
how do we do?
The results are there. So you asked for your cleaning products, what's better? And the first option was cheaper, lower performance, and I think the total votes there was 5. Now on premium, cuts cleaning time, gets better results. We're seeing 16 votes. So I think it's a pretty clear majority that people are looking for quality here. They're looking for efficiency, and that you shouldn't compromise on what I know is already, the top quality cleaning products out there. Okay, so now let's play the Canadian or Not game to finish off today's show. So I'm going to bring up the overlay again, and I'm going to take it live. I am going to take the product feature off the screen, but that doesn't mean you can't buy it. In the shop area, just to the right of the chat room, or as the tab on the chat room, you can be purchasing any of the products here. But let's focus on the game here. So we're going to jump right to round 3. And round 3, the first Canadian or Not question is eyeglasses. Are eyeglasses Canadian? Okay, so now let's open up the poll. So we're wondering if eyeglasses are a Canadian invention.
Oh, I'm entirely perplexed.
Okay, so the voting is now open. And we'll give people about 10 seconds to see whether they think eyeglasses were invented in Canada. So far, we have 3 votes for Canadian, 1 vote for not Canadian.
I'm thinking back to every Jeopardy episode I've ever seen to see if I can recall this.
In your brain, yeah. And the last one, we found out, I think that Velcro was a Canadian invention, yeah. And the garbage bag was invented in Winnipeg.
Oh, well, that tracks. I mean,
so the question here are eyeglasses a Canadian invention? So we'll stop the voting in 3 seconds, in 2, 1, and okay, it looks like a clear majority of people voted that eyeglasses were Canadian.
I'm going to say yes too.
You are?
Yeah, I have a feeling.
I don't want to participate because I know the answer, but I'm going to have to say that this may be the first one we got wrong today.
Ooh.
Eyeglasses are not Canadian. The first wearable spectacles appeared in 13th century Italy. So that's the one where we've gotten wrong first, but we're still rolling 3 corrects and 1 not correct. So I'm going to reset the votes and we'll do another one here.
I'm going to try to do better this time.
Okay, good. These are designed to be a bit tricky.
I feel tricked.
Next one is the egg carton. Is the egg carton a Canadian invention? So I'm going to start the voting and we'll give it about 10 seconds to see what people think. This one's interesting,
I
like,
was so nervous because I felt confident about the glasses, but now that I think further about it, of course, like glasses predated Canada. But
right. Oh, good question. Yeah, good point. I didn't even think of that. That
eggs.
would have been a giveaway. Right now, we're seeing not Canadian ahead on the egg carton thing, and we're going to close the voting in 3 seconds. 2, 1.
I'm going to say yes again.
You're going to say yes, Canadian.
Say
Okay,
yes.
so we have a. Oh, okay. So Canadian is the. With your vote, I'm gonna stop the voting. 4, 3, 2, 1. Stop. With your vote, we have a tie. Canadian, not Canadian, exact votes. I'm going to give that to the people who voted Canadian. Yes, the egg carton
Oh,
is a Canadian invention.
okay.
It was invented in 1911 by Joseph Coyle in Smithers, BC. Apparently, after hearing a farmer hotel spat about broken eggs.
Huh.
Could have known. Yeah, I got AI to help me with these interesting facts. Okay, one more, and then we'll call it a day for the Canadian or Not game. I'm going to reset the votes. And the final question for today's Canadian or Not is 5-pin bowling. Is 5-pin bowling a Canadian invention? So we're speaking specifically about 5-pin here, and we've opened up the votes. There seems to be a lot of action on this one. We're getting tons of votes coming in. I think we're up to 20 for Canadian and 4 for not Canadian, or sorry, 2 for not Canadian. So what we're seeing now is a strong reaction that the world, or at least the Buy Canadian Super Hour audience, is a strong believer that 5-pin bowling was invented in Canada. I'm going to stop the vote in 3 seconds. 3, 2, 1. And yes, the final.
I'm going to go with the masses.
You're going to go with the masses, say Canadian?
Mm-hmm.
And you would be correct.
Wow.
The game 5-pin bowling was invented in 1909, 2 years before the egg carton, interestingly, by Toronto proprietor Thomas F. Ryan, using a small ball and rubber banded pins. So Canadians, as we learned in last week, are really good at these sports games. But I got to say, we did way better this week, probably because you were here, Melissa.
I think that has something to do with it. Or maybe just people are brushing up on their Canadian trivia because they know you're gonna put them to the test.
Exactly. So next week we'll try again and maybe try some other features. Speaking of next week, next week's guest will be Corinna from Sassy and Tall. So Corinna's been creating these T-shirts designed specifically for tall women, and she's manufacturing it all in Canada and creating really Canadian focused products. So, for example, she's selling this United Provinces of Canada T-shirt, which you can buy here on the show if you want to, but we'll also be featuring it next week, and some really nice bamboo T-shirts as well. So she'll be here telling me a little bit about her business. But that's it for today's Buy Canadian Super Hour. Thanks for staying with me the whole time. It was much easier having a pro like you on screen with me instead of me just having a monologue the whole time. So thank you very much for that.
Oh, anytime. This was lots of fun. Thanks, Dave.
It's a pleasure. Let's do one more giveaway and then we'll call it a day. So I'm going to draw a final winner here for today's show. And the final winner is Louise Champagne. Louise Champagne, you are the second winner of the 20% off coupon for next week's show. We'll be sending that down to you, and you should be seeing on screen right now the winner award. And I want to thank everybody for tuning into the Buy Canadian Super Hour. We'll be live again next week at noon Eastern Time on buycanadian.tv. If you want to rewatch the show, or if you have a friend who might want to see it later, we'll have the replay up live later today at buycanadian.tv. You can shop against the replay. remember, this is all about Canada, Canadian brands, supporting the Canadian economy. And thank you all, and thank you especially, Melissa, for doing this. You're just a wonderful guest, and super excited to have you in the Buy Canadian Superstore.
Thanks, everyone, for your support, and thanks, Dave. This was really fun.
Agreed. Thank you, and we look forward to welcoming you back again, because you're just so fantastic at this. Thank you so much. Okay, thanks everybody. We'll see you next week on the Buy Canadian Super Hour. Next week at same time, Wednesday noon, on buycanadian.tv. Thanks again.